So welcome back. We're still speaking about Healing America's Narratives, Chapter 7, Post 9/11 Wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. We're pretty much near the end, speaking about the kind of a reflective way, speaking about the 9/11 hearings and returning to Richard Clarke's testimony. He was the National Coordinator for Anti-Terrorism, Counterterrorism rather, under both the Clinton and George W. Bush administrations. And he pretty much ran point in the immediate hours after the planes hit the buildings in the Pentagon and went down in Pennsylvania, in collaboration with Vice President Cheney and National Security Advisor Rice. And we spoke a little bit about his interactions with them back in episode 52 of these videos. When he appeared in front of the 9/11 Commission, he spent 15 hours of giving testimony in closed testimony, in other words, that which was not open to the public, answering all of their questions. And then subsequently, on March 24th, 2004, there were various people who gave public testimony, and Richard Clarke was included in that public testimony. And he opened his public testimony, and there were press present, there was the 9/11 Commission was present, and survivors of that day, people who had lost loved ones and coworkers and colleagues that they were in the room as well. This is how he began. So, quote, "I welcome these hearings because of the opportunity that they provide to the American people to better understand why the tragedy of 9/11 happened and what we must do to prevent a recurrence. I also welcome the hearings because it is finally a forum where I can apologize to the loved ones of the victims of 9/11. To them who are in this room," as he said that, he turned, paused, and acknowledged them. "To those who are watching on television, your government failed you, those entrusted with protecting you failed you, and I failed you. We tried hard, but that doesn't matter because we failed. And for that failure, I would ask, once all the facts are out, for your understanding and your forgiveness." So just reflect on those words for a moment and think of the last time you heard a public official, elected or not, in this case, Clarke was appointed, who actually acknowledged failure and asked for forgiveness. When was the last time you heard that? I mean, especially at the federal level, but consider the state on local levels as well. As an asterisk to his testimony, just days before this public testimony was given, Clarke had put out a book called Against All Enemies, where he recounted those days leading up to the September 11th attacks, including when he was working in the Clinton administration and those days that followed the September 11th attacks. Several commission members pressed him, interrogated him on what they felt were inconsistencies between his private testimony given to the 9/11 Commission and what he wrote in the book. And when they questioned his allegiances and these alleged inconsistencies, this was his response, quote, "In the 15 hours of testimony, no one asked me what I thought about the president's invasion of Iraq. And the reason I'm strident in my criticism of the President of the United States is because by invading Iraq, something I was not asked about by the Commission, it's something I chose to write about a lot in the book. By invading Iraq, the President of the United States has greatly undermined the war on terrorism." And you can read more about Clarke's sentiments on that in the book or in his public speaking and interviews elsewhere. So again, an apology by one person who had no control of policy or decisions that were made. He was only an advisor to the president, albeit the most informed advisor around counterterrorism. A voice of integrity, intelligence, whether you agree with everything he said or not. He had no particular political axe to grind. He really did put country ahead of party or administration. So that was kind of a bright light in a dark time following the September 11th attacks. So thank you again, as always, for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you the next time.